on 10,000 dailies every day.
Businesses
every day.
Every day.
Like I said yesterday, I said if what we call the NEPA bill can get to every nook and cranny of this country
during the analog days.
During the analog days. Now that we have technology, what is wrong? Like Mr. Alpha said, I also mentioned yesterday that we can transfer money to our friends, to our girlfriends, our cronies, and family members in real time. But we cannot transmit results in real time.
That's a big question there. All right, and let's quickly look at our last paper for the day, if possible. So which one do we really have next? We have the Tribune. The Tribune is also carrying the headline concerning the Electoral Act. OB CSOs orders protest at NAS. OB CSOs orders protest at NAS. That's the headline there. So we, like I said, we'll be diving into that more as we continue the show this morning. Our federal government begins implementation of 40% pay agreement with ASU, orders compliance. FG begins implementation of 40% pay agreement with ASU, orders compliance. A quick reaction from you, Alpha.
Well, that was the main event that happened as far as the nation's capital yesterday was concerned. It all has to do with the Electoral Act. We saw the former presidential candidate, Peter Obi, at the behest of civil society. But I have a problem with that. Why now? I actually expected this to have started much earlier. I have actually been thinking about it. As far as the Electoral Act amendment is concerned, it's something that once you notice there is a problem with the electoral process, as you are swearing in the next administration, civil society should start work on it almost immediately.
Okay.
But you see, we now have barely a year to elections, and we are now beginning to come out of our nest to start talking about it. My clarion call to Nigerians is that beyond the protest, the bottom line is that we have to be very proactive.
Wow.
The security situation in Nigeria today is what it is because we have not been proactive. You should know that if there is hunger in the land, if there's unemployment in the land, if there are perceived injustices, if people believe that there is bad governance, what do? The security architecture of this country should move ahead and start thinking of what do we do to mitigate possible backlashes.
Yeah.
And it appears that is something we don't do. We're always reactionary. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
But I think as a country, if it is our electoral process, if it is our democratic process, if it is the economy, if it is our social stance, if it is the economy, let's learn to be, because nothing is static.
Yeah.
Nothing is certain. There's nothing about saying that, okay, because it is this morning, it will be the same later in the evening. So as a people, the one way we can build our country is to be proactive.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Alpha there. And we'll be going for a quick break. When we return, we'll dive into the issue of the day. Please do stay tuned. Welcome back to the P&B Morning Show right here on Politics and Business Television, Abuja. Former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi on Monday led a protest by supporters and pro-democracy activists in the National Assembly, urging lawmakers to reverse the removal of real-time electronic transmission of election results from the Electoral Act's Amendment Bill. The demonstration, which attracted hundreds of members of the obedience movement and civil society groups, was held under the banner occupied the National Assembly. Participants described the move as a setback for electoral transparency ahead of the 2027 general elections. The Senate last week passed the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Reenactment Amendment Bill 2026. However, critics faulted the deletion of the phrase real time from sections dealing with electronic transmission of results, arguing that the change could weaken safeguards and against electoral manipulation. And of course, this morning, this is what we'll be looking at, the citizens' protest and the future of electoral reform in Nigeria. I'll be joined very, very shortly by Zoom this morning. That's Mr. Ferdinand Ojelabi will be joining us very, very soon to, of course, dive into the discussion of the day. Yes, we have Mr. Alpha Jack Dean still in the studio. He is a public affairs analyst and, of course, a veteran journalist, as it is too. All right, so Chidi, yeah,
All right.
you fired the first salvo.
All right. Thank you very much, OJ. I think I want to dwell on the word setback. I was saying something that the idea behind the Electoral Act started, from the Clifford Constitution 1922. And then that gave rise to the first regional election in 1959. And from 1959 to, Nigeria has evolved every 20 years. Now, in 1979, August 1st, we had the first presidential election that brought in Shehu Shagari. And then in 1999, 20 years after again, we had another election that brought in, Obasanjo. Now, 2022, the late President Muhammadu Buhari also, brought about the Electoral Act, the reforms. Now, if you minus 2022 from 1922, you see that what the Senate is trying to do.
A century, right?
100 years setback. So when you use the word setback, you are not out of place to say that, because 2022 to 1922, when the first idea was conceived by Clifford Constitution, you can see that we are 100, you're trying to take us 100 years back. And now when you add extra 4 years, which is 2026, we're looking at 104 years old.
Wow.
And so when they said this whole idea is to bring us, take us back, the person is not wrong saying that. However, I also want to say that the idea, like Mr. Alpha said, of this fire brigade approach is calculated. Because I want to say calculated in the sense that the Senate did not sit last year. The Senate did not sit last 2 years. The Senate sat few months, barely a year, because election is about February. So let's drag them, probably, allegedly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying is let's drag this thing and see.
Okay, and, we have a Ferdinand on the line. Mr. Ferdinand, are you there? Hello, good morning. Ferdinand Ojelabi, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you. Good morning.
Okay,
Can
all
you
right.
hear me?
Let's continue the discussion while we connect. While we connect with Ferdinand virtually this morning. So, Alpha. Are you there, Ferdinand? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us right here on Politics and Business Television.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here with you.
Okay, so quickly, what is your take on the controversy surrounding the Electoral Act?
Yes, thank you very much. I want to almost appreciate the presence of my colleagues that are here. Now, the amendment, if you look at it very well, is in series. It involves the issue of the giver. It involves the issue of the RF. It's also involved the issue that has to do with the time at which the INEC will have to tell the entire electorate the period at which the election will take place. And it's also talk about the issue of the offense of selling and buying voters' cards. All of these are put into one. But out of all that has been discussed, deliberated so far at the level of the Senate, it's only one that is actually bringing much of controversy. But there are other ones that we need to touch, like which we'll talk about later, which has to do with the use of RF. That's the INEC result during portal.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue that we are facing at hand. And I believe that what the Senate result to is to give INEC that independent capability or the discretion for INEC to use their discretion to use whichever mode that will favor their assignment come 2027. And the electorates are saying no. And it is pertinent for the lawmakers to look onto the reason why the electorates are saying no. And I believe that trying to borrow leave from the last presidential election, they felt that there are some anti-parties that were playing. And if the RF is not used this time around, such anti-party will repeat itself. But let me tell you this. In the last election, all the parties involved in election rigged that election. All the parties involved, they attempted to rig the election. But there's an adage that said that fast guy no dey lose. The person that was faster, so to say, tend to
win the day.
result that was there. Yes. So if you are talking of RF, fine. It is accepted and it should be accepted. But let us look at the other part of it. Because everybody involved in the election, they want to have the icing of the cake.
Okay.
Are you getting it? So we should be very, very careful about it. And again, if you are talking of this RF, if it is accepted, let us make a mock of it and let's see how it actually goes. It's not enough to say that, okay, we want RF, but how does it work? How does it operate? It's very, very important. Let us test on it. In terms of testing it, that's when we see the technicalities and the nitty-gritty involved in adopting RF in whatever political exercise we want to carry on. And again, there are other African countries that are using it, and it's working for them. Ghana is there, Mozambique is there, Congo, DRC Congo is there. African country. I think Namibia also they are using it. So definitely we can borrow leave from them and put this in place.
All right.
That's what I have for now.
All right. Thank you very much. Alpha, why is it that the phrase real-time electronic transmission of results is so important to electoral transparency? Yes.
Well, the whole idea is that, taking a cue from what Mr. Ferdinand just said, he made mention of the fact that things didn't quite go well as far as the last elections are concerned. But what I want to add to what he just said is that why Nigerians are calling for real-time transmission of elections is to mitigate some of these problems, which includes buying votes, which includes what's the other one now? Rigging votes. You know, he took his time to dwell on rigging. We are not saying it will be El Dorado overnight. And one other thing he made mention of, is the fact that if we follow these things succinctly, if we test run it, whatever glitches we may encounter in the course of the process, same we will discover. So let's have it behind our minds that Nigerians are interested in democracy. Nigerians want to see transparency. Nigerians want to see that their votes count. And in my opinion, this is the way to go. If we decide to do the right thing today, we then will be able to hold our leaders accountable. But in a situation whereby people get to positions of electoral value through the back door, through rigging, through vote buying, through making sure that people are compromised, I can assure you he does not owe you anything at the end of the day. We will go for the first 4 years. When it is time for another 4 years, if such a person is allowed to run for office, all the person will need to do is go back, do what he did the last time so that he can perpetuate himself in power. So the bottom line is that when Nigerians are calling for e-transmission, that is electronic transmission of, the process, all Nigerians are saying is that electronically, the you and I function will be cut off. As you are voting, you are seeing it. It is happening in other parts of the world. I don't think it is rocket science. It's not. It's something that we can achieve if we truly put our hearts to it. But the next question may just be, who is afraid of electronic voting in Nigeria?
Okay.
Who is afraid of electronic transmission of results in Nigeria?
I don't know if you'll permit me to.
Okay, very quickly, because we'll be joined by a former legislator, a member from the a former member of the Adamawa State House of Assembly, will be joining us very, very shortly, talking about Honorable Baba, who will be joining us very shortly. So once he's on, we'll let you know. And before you talk, Chidi, let me quickly go back to Ferdinand. Mr. Ferdinand, if you can hear me.
Yes, I'm with you.
Can public protests like the so-called Occupy the National Assembly influence legislative decisions in Nigeria? For instance, the Senate will be reconvening today. Can the protests yesterday actually, influence their decisions today?
It's relative. What I would say is this. You see, there are so many people that are protesting and they don't know why they are protesting. There are some people that are protesting, they know the reason why they are protesting. Now, I believe there should be a way we educate our electorate concerning what's on ground. They need to be educated. That was why I said, in face of it, electoral transfer of election protesting, there should be a mock of it. There should be we should test run it. Most people don't know the importance of electronic voting, and most people don't know the disadvantage therein. So in the place of us test running it, it will be clear to everybody. I can assure you, are you getting it? Whatever is on ground, there's what we call final amendment that the Senate can actually adopt to put things in place regarding the status of the populace. There's not a final amendment, but if there's not a final amendment, there are ways to go by it. If we continue demonstrating, destroying these all manner of things, it might not lead us to where we are going. Mind you, the senators and the House of Rep, they are the product of the electorate. They are the product of the masses. They didn't fall from the moon or from the blue. They are product of the masses. Then definitely, in as much as they are the product of the masses, the beliefs and the confidence of the masses is in there.
Okay.
But at this juncture, if there are issues that, okay, what we have done so far, we are not satisfied to an extent, there are going to go about. Let us call for that issue of final amendment. There are adjustments that need to be made. Probably the people at the end of our day, they have faith. I don't see the reason why they should have faith. Why? Because the other time, during 2023 election, there was a code. And as they are trying to eat, to perpetrate the portal, the code continues changing. In as much any party that wants to attempt to enter the portal, the code changes at interval. So it was difficult for them to hack the portal. So what INEC later resolved to say, okay, that's why they had issues. So when INEC realized that issue, they said, okay, let us resolve back to what? To the manual system of what? Compiling vote. That was what happened in the last election. And probably they are afraid of the same thing happening. And he who fights and run away live to fight another day. But the time the person is fighting another day, is fighting with bigger and stronger arsenal. So I believe this is the reason why things are being passive. Because if they can look at that final amendment and listen to the cry of the electorate, it will go a long way. A little shift here, a little shift over here and there. We will arrive at a center that everybody will go and try.
All right, Mr. Alpha.
Yes.
Looking at the issue of infrastructure, technological infrastructure, do you think we are there? I know Chidi has been saying that in the analog days, how did NEPA distribute bills?
Which is very true.
Which
is very true.
But you know the issue of failures that we're having technologically in this structure. So do we really even have the infrastructure?
There's nothing in life that is foolproof, agreed. But there's nothing wrong with testing things. Looking at the humongous amount that was given to INEC, I want to believe that the technology is available. Now, even if we don't have it here, you can bring it in. The bottom line is this: why are we not proactive? Why are we not even thinking of developing some of these apps locally? We are told that in the past somebody attempted it, but the rumor we had was that I think the person was eventually taken out of the process or something. I wouldn't know. That was just an allegation. You understand? But the point is the technology is available, and that technology, in my opinion, can be deployed. You see, the thing is this: the office holders, as it were, are products of the electorate. But do they reach the issues of the people? Those that are in office today, was that what the people actually wanted? Or are they there to fulfill all righteousness? What Nigerians are saying is that no, we want a situation whereby we can hold our leaders accountable. And the kind of leaders you can hold accountable are the kind of leaders that you voted into power. We want our democracy to deepen. We want transparency within the democratic process. What is an electoral act? It is all encompassing. It looks at the administration, it looks at the prosecution of the electoral process. It's all encompassing. It's a huge process that in most instances, apart from the staggered elections, comes once a year in Nigeria. For 4 years, you have the time to prepare and make things better. Once upon a time, I mean, let's head back to 1979. In 1979, I saw that election. Everything was manual. The election that brought President Shagari to power, everything was manual.
But was it free and fair?
Well, to a large extent, it depends on who you are talking to.
But of course, we know that the 1983 one wasn't.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. You understand? Those that benefited from it will tell you that was the best thing that happened to Nigeria.
Yes.
But those that, of course, lost out will tell you, no, it was horrible. And these are some of the things that he gave us the historical, sequence where it started in 1922 right up to where we are today.
Yes.
So the bottom line is we should be getting better. Because even the 2023 elections, forget about 79, even the 2023 elections, there are people that will tell you that the happenstances were not for the growth of democracy. Some will tell you, okay, no, that was the best thing that happened to our democratic experience. Some will tell you that, okay, look at the legislature. There were many parties. But IREF on the day probably didn't glitch. But when it came to the presidential, they told us something went wrong. Very good. So you see, these are the issues.
I was itching to say something about that, Mr. Alpha. You see, that's why I want to disagree with Mr. Ferdinand to an extent.
Over the
yes,
over the issue of the IREF, right?
Yes, it has not been tested.
Okay.
From 2023 to now, we've had some state elections.
Yes.
And the IREF was used.
Yes, sir.
The case study of Anambra State election.
Recently.
And now, like Mr. Alpha said, during the 2023 elections, the governorship election was quite smooth.
That's right.
Everything went on well. There was no glitches.
Legislative was smooth.
But mind you, a subnational election is not a national election.
No. But didn't it hold the same?
It's the same thing.
So we consider the magnitude.
But apart from the staggered elections, they all held in the same day.
Yeah. In that party, we saw even parties like NNPP, Labour Party producing candidates, and they won. In fact, there's a story in Kaduna State where I think it was a former Akada rider.
Well,
yeah, allegedly was contested an election and he won. Now, this is what we're talking about. Who is afraid of what, like Mr. Alpha said. And I also want to say something about this idea of the fire brigade approach. Like we just like to do this. Is a Nigerian factor. Now, the Nigerian Society of Engineers have come out to say that it is that IRF or not. That is engineers.
So they know.
So and
they communicate. The report came out yesterday.
Okay, and incidentally, Mr. Ferdinand is an engineer. Mr. Ferdinand.
Yes, I'm with you.
You heard what Chidi said, and to add to that, the 2-week ultimatum given by the CSOs to the National Assembly to amend whatever has happened, do you think is called for?
Number one, I would like to start by saying, to this extent, Nigeria, we are transcend the issue of rigging elections. To the extent that Nigeria, we have transcend that level. I think we should see it as a very big aberration for any party or any individual to have it at the back of his or her mind to rig any election. That is that about that. Then, when you come to the issue of what my colleagues have just said, what I'm trying to say is that there should be enough education. The electorate should be much educated when it comes to this issue of electoral voting. We need wider understanding, better understanding how to talk it, the nitty-gritty and the technicality. So that whomever is trying to agitate or argue, you know the reason where you are arguing. Because the electoral, election, whatever, is a process. From the returning officer to a particular place to the final destination. All of this, we must know how it moves from section A to section B, from section B to section C. It shouldn't be something that is we shouldn't do it holistically. We should be segment by segment. From this part to this part, what transpired? The result. From this part to this part, what transpired? How did they come about it till we get to the final? If each and every one of us have that better understanding, by the time a particular result comes forth, you know where to argue that result. You know where to query that result. You know why that result get to that place and where it's coming from. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So Ferdinand, on the issue of the CSOs giving ultimatum. So your quick reaction, 2-week ultimatum to National Assembly.
The issue of the CSOs giving ultimatum, I don't know. Maybe they want to put the Senate on their toes. But I believe what should be done is we should appeal to them. They should be appealed to see it from the side of the electorate. Because if you want to put it fire for fire, it might not really work. Let us take the part of one. Let us appeal to them. This is what we want. We stand on what we want, and they will put it in place. But giving them ultimatum, I don't know how it will work because it's a long process entirely. They have to go back, sit and begin to they'll go back and begin to sit and begin to fashion a better way that will be favorable to the people that will vote the power and the electorate. It's very, very important. But if I give them ultimatum, they might on that pedestal of ultimatum give another resolution that might not go well with the electorate. So that's that.
All right, thank you very much. We'll be going for a quick break, and of course, we'll try and join Honorable Baba Waziri, who is a former legislator with the Adamawa State House of Assembly. We must, thank you, Ferdinand Ojelabi, for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, many thanks. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, you're welcome back to the P&B television morning show right here. And of course, we are still discussing the issue of citizens no protest. How can this actually change our electoral process? The Alpha Jardine is still here with us. And of course, Chidi, you have some questions to ask.
Yes, quick one, George, Mr. Alpha. Once again, thank you very much. They want to ask some very sensitive question. First of all, I want to ask you, what's your take on this word called rigging?
Well, this is it. Rigging, of course, is doing the wrong thing. Basically, to literally install a candidate on the people. Forcefully. Because basically that, in a layman's term, is the way I will put it. But beyond that, how does it start? You see, talk to experts in accounting. They will tell you that primitive accumulation of wealth starts from the budgeting process. It's not when the budget is passed and then people are...
From the process.
It's from the... Now, rigging, as it were, my dear brother Chidi, right, starts from when you are doing the voters register. If you don't know, investigate that. Secondly, rigging is not about thumb printing alone.
Wow.
Rigging is not about vote buying alone. Rigging is not about compromising electoral officers alone. But the bottom line is that if we can get to transmit electoral votes real time, you will be able to curtail most of these things. Elections will even become cheaper for the country. Whether we like it or not, is our economy in the best of happenstances? No. So we need to see how we can cut down on excessive cost. And one of the ways that we can do that is through the use of technology. Nobody is saying that it's going to be El Dorado overnight. It is something that with time, as we move on, if we see the pitfalls, if we see the issues or the areas where we are lacking, we amend. The amendment process started in 1922. In fact, do we even say 1922? At some point, 1914, the amalgamation. I will even push it back then. And then from the political scene right to 79 that gave us a democracy, and then later to, was it 99 or so?
99.
That gave us, the current democratic water view that we're running. So the bottom line is, what am I saying in essence? Nigerians should insist on making sure that the Senate, if they truly are a product of the Nigerian people, and they believe that they got there by virtue of the fact that Nigerians indeed voted for them, they should give Nigerians electronic
Okay, just a quick one, and I need you to answer it just
transmission
quickly
of
for me.
yes.
Okay. Would you say that policy change is a way of trying to be technically smart in rigging? For example, as we have it today, where some say e-transmission and some say transfer. These are some very smart
Beautiful
policy
question.
change.
Beautiful
is it a
question.
technical way of saying, I want to rig the election?
No, beautiful
Allegedly.
question. Beautiful question. But you and I know that there's a hallmark difference between transfer. You know that. You
Both of
understand?
them
There's
sound
nothing
similar.
too technical about
similar,
it.
sir.
They sound similar, but they are two different things. They are two different things.
So it's for the courts to decide.
It's not for the court to decide. Nigerians already know what it is. You don't need to go to any Supreme Court to tell you that transfer means transmission or transmission means transfer. They are not one and the same. They are two
In
different
fact, somebody
things.
said transfer is grab it, run
with it, and you understand? But transmission is okay. Omike is voting, Chidi is voting, Jagden is voting. As it is ongoing, you are seeing it displayed.
Real time.
All right, the last question, Mr. Alpha,
Yes, sir.
before I let you go.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you, is it lawful, is it correct to see the Senate being the one trying to amend the Electoral? Because in the case of where the lion is a judge in a case that involves the goat as a defendant, I don't think that goat will survive that judgment.
Well, if you notice,
that's why I'm saying this.
No, hold on. But if you notice, right, we have a bicameral legislature in Nigeria.
Okay.
Why is the focus on the Senate and not the House? Because the House had already done their own.
And they adopted the
They adopted it. And they are actually waiting for, they thought that the Senate will in good conscience simply adopt. And then we harmonize. And then we continue. You see, what will happen?
And the Senate has a lot of senior citizens
who should know that the peace of this country,
65 to 70.
That's it. Who should know? That is the highest decision level, apart from the Federal Executive Council, of course. The Senate should be at the behest of making sure that our electoral processes are as transparent as the word transparent can be. But of course, who is afraid? If you truly believe that you got to the Senate via the good conscience of your electorate, you should not be afraid of that. All you need to do is, why is it that, let's not forget, Chidi. Once upon a time, if you have an account in a particular bank, you cannot go to the same bank, another branch. You can't go there and withdraw money. If that account is in Lagos, you have to go to Lagos
to withdraw.
If you're in Abuja. But now,
everything has been.
Are we there now?
Electronic transmission.
Why didn't we fight that one? Because we are afraid, people may steal our money. Why didn't we fight that one?
So, OJ, you heard him. Who is afraid?
Who is afraid?
OJ, that question is to you. Who is afraid, OJ?
The internet came and made life quite easy for all of us. You and I know that, right? You and I know that. You're transmitting now to the world via Facebook. Anybody that is internet enabled can watch what you're doing.
Of course.
Why are we not afraid of that one? That, this thing is borderless. It could have security implications. It could have economic implications. It could expose us as a people. What have you and what have not? Why are we not worried about that?
Crimes.
All right. So lastly, Alpha, the CSO's threat to the Senate, 2-week ultimatum.
That's right.
Or else.
Well, they didn't tell us what the else will be. But you and I think we know what it is. Are we calling for a massive protest if that does not happen? My clarion call to the National Assembly, the Senate in particular, Senator Godswill Akpabio, you and your colleagues, please listen to the voice of the people. We don't need these shenanigans. We don't need this level of deprivation in broad daylight. Nigerians are asking that you, or they be given the, opportunity to see that the electoral process is as transparent as it can be. Please play your role. Don't forget that history will judge you based on what the opportunity you've been given to do today with. Do your own. If it gets to the president can decide to say, okay, you see, I won't assent to it. Why will I not assent to it? I won't assent to it because I am also contesting. President Buhari did the same thing. But do your bit. Do your bit. And if for any reason we get there and President Tinubu does not want to assent, we know how to deal with the issue. But let's not forget that democracy, the legislature is the fulcrum, is the melting point, because that is where everybody, as it were, comes and speaks for the people.
Thank you very much, Alpha Jackdin, for your incisive analysis this morning on the P&B Morning Show, right here on Public and Business, Politics and Business Television. Thank you very much.
So much, my honor. Thanks for having me. Thank you, guys.
Yes, of course, Alpha Jackdin is a veteran journalist. So we're going for a quick break and we'll be joined by a former legislator. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the P&B Morning Show right here on Politics and Business Television, reaching live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Now, joining us on this segment is a former legislator who, of course, has served in the Adamawa State Assembly. In person, he's, of course, Honorable Baba Waziri. Good morning to you, Honorable Baba Waziri. Please, can you unmute? We can't hear you from here. Just unmute if you can, please.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning to you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Nice having you this morning.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay. Without wasting time, why is the removal of real-time electronic transmission clause so controversial? You are a former lawmaker, and you know the heat that your colleagues are facing here right now in Abuja. So, what's your take on the whole situation generally?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, there is no need for that heat because, from my understanding, it's a padded act. Instead of the Senate President to allow the bill to go as passed by the National Assembly, he decided to party it and take it president. We don't know what is his problem, but actually it's wrong for him to pad whatever it is that was passed in the National Assembly, and for final assent, he just amend A, B, C, O, D, what do you call it, sections of the act.
Yeah.
So I think this is punishable actually by at least not only impeachment, and this should be prosecuted also.
Wow.
Because that is a law passed by a majority of Nigerians. Because I'm sure majority of the electorate were not have voted for or against those people at the National Assembly. So put all the votes together, we're talking about almost 20 million Nigerians came out to vote. And you, as an individual, decide to change whatever happened at the National Assembly. Actually, it's wrong, and it's uncalled for. That's my take, actually. So something serious needs to be done against the Senate President, to be honest with you. Thank you.
So, as a former lawmaker, you are calling for the prosecution of the Senate President, accusing him of maybe doing something behind the scene. But we've seen video where he tried to explain his position when that decision was taken last week, Wednesday. So why are you calling for his prosecution in a situation where you know he's not the only person in the house? We have 105 other members.
No, I'm not telling you that I know he is the only. No.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that from the reaction of some of the senators,
Yes,
they said no, that's not what we passed at the National Assembly. we actually passed that Electoral Act with the real-time, result being but unfortunately, between the National Assembly and the villa, which is less than 2 kilometers from the office of the Senate to the office of the President, this thing was illegally amended or expanded. Why? What for? There is need for a serious investigation. And the person that took it is the clerk. Who gives it to the clerk? It's the Senate President, because he has the final say on it, and the Speaker. So what will happen is that the Senate is complaining, we passed it not this way. So actually they have to set up a committee to investigate that. You cannot investigate somebody that does not sit. He has to forget. Then you just let Nigerians know, let us see her. And if he by any means parted it, he should be prosecuted, not only impeached. After impeachment, he should be prosecuted. Because the major problem there is when something deliberately decided to make government lose a lot of resources. You're just okay, we remove it. Removing it, is that all? What happened to the amount of resources the electorate lost? Because it's not their own resources, it's our own commonwealth. It's for all of us. Maybe instead of wasting that money there, we'll have injected it somewhere into the education, into what you call a health system, into infrastructure, whatever. But unfortunately, you are not injecting that money here. You are budgeting it to the National Assembly, and instead of do the right thing, they are abusing the resources in their own what you call it, under their own care. So to be honest with you, we need to start punishing leaders. When we don't do that, then we're not ready to correct anything. To be honest with you, I am of the opinion that he should be removed and be prosecuted. Actually, not only him, whoever has a hand in it, including the civil servants, including that is the clerk of the Senate or whoever is involved in it, all of them should be punished. To be honest with you,
Okay.
we don't need to allow people like that. Yes.
Okay, now that they are reconvening today, do you think that the Senate can make amend and appease Nigerians? Is there any hope from you?
Well, actually, it is not for them to appease Nigeria, but to appease them also. Because they are there to present us. And that's our interest. That's what we want as Nigerians. So it is for them to go and do the amendment. And after the amendment, to punish whoever altered that in the past election. Leaving them to go free, I'm not in support. Actually, they should be punished. Because that punishment aspect of it is something that will strengthen the system. That's what is killing our system. We don't take any punishment, any action against people that commits any crime. We just allow criminals walking on the street, taking the position of leadership, doing whatever they feel like doing. Can you imagine the way Akwabi was talking to people that you should allow the poor to breathe? Who is he to allow to breathe? Let him take our breath if he can take it. Who is he? We have the same truth that he has. We have the same creator opportunity to breathe. So he should allow all customers from breathing. Actually, that is wrong. That's very uncommon of the leader. It's wrong. Actually. It's wrong. So I am hopeful when they do today, that issue will come up, and definitely they don't have alternative other than to do the right thing for Nigerians. To be honest with you, and what Nigerians are demanding for is their own rights. Our rights, all of us. All want a free, fair, credible election. If you as the president want it, fine, you vacate the office, allow somebody that will do it, come and do it, or whoever. You cannot sit down and abuse the opportunity that was given to you by millions of Nigerians to come and start doing something that I don't like it. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Okay, Honorable Waziri, I will join you shortly. Now, Chidi, you heard Honorable Waziri there.
Yes,
he's raising the issue of investigate, and if I'm wanting prosecute. Would this not really delay the whole process, because we don't have time?
Well, not just time, delay in the sense that our judicial system also have to look at it, from the High Court to the Appeal Court, to the Supreme Court, and what have you. And we all know how this whole, journey in Nigeria, it go about it rather, because sometimes we've seen cases that are supposed to be rounded up in just 2 months, spending about a year plus, and they keep adjourning and amending the cases. However, I want to also say something that if you look at this protest now, the protest is now in 2 forms. We have the one of the P2B, and we have the internal protest by some senators saying that we are not aware, as it were, we're not aware that this e-transmission was omitted. We're not aware. So you can see that even retired lawmakers like a
lawmaker is a lawmaker.
A lawmaker is a lawmaker, just like a general is a general. You can see
right.
also the lawmakers, retired lawmakers are also protesting.
Yes.
So you see, the protest is now in 2 forms. We have retired serving and
All right,
about to be.
Honorable Waziri, before we let you we'll let you go this morning, do you think that this this controversy will erode the confidence in Nigerians signing our electoral process? Do you think that forget about this election, Jerry? Do you think it will really affect their morale going forward? Would this controversy actually affect the psyche of Nigerians when it comes to our electoral process?
Let me tell you this, to be honest with you, Nigerians have lost confidence completely in the system. But we are doing our best. We are trying to mobilize Nigerians back into the polling box, at least mobilize, come out en masse, and make sure that these people did not rig this election in 2027. The only way out is for all of us to come out massively. They are doing whatever they could do. They are about to discourage us, at least to send people away from polling. No, we will not. We'll keep on mobilizing. Instead of 30 people coming, we'll bring out 300. Instead of 1,000, we'll bring 5,000. So to be honest with you, we keep on mobilizing people the more, so that we can intimidate them with the number. We are the majority. We Nigerians, the populace are the majority. Nobody can come from anywhere. We have only one center representing, like in the place almost 1 million people, like the Kano Central. I think there are only almost 1 million. Even in my constituency here, a center representing less than 300,000 people in each of our central districts. So you can imagine, and that's look at the term the turnout, very low, less than 33%. But for 2023 elections, it's less than even 20% that came out for the elections. You can imagine we have over 18 million registered voters. The whole vote, so the whole total, I think it's about 24 million votes out of 80 million. So you can imagine the turnout is very, very low. And I'm sure this time, 2027, we are going to have very massive turnout. If not up to 50%, but at least 45% of the electors to come and vote. That's how we intimidate and send these people away, because they are a group of people that doesn't like the country at all, to be honest. So, but unfortunately, they will meet us at the polling and we'll deal with them, God willing.
All right. Okay. We must, thank you very much.
Pleasure, Benny. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very much. And Chidi, you heard the former lawmaker from the Adamawa State House of Assembly,
Yes.
saying that, look, what has transpired in the last 1 week is as a result of some people trying to shortchange the wheels of Nigerians when it comes to election. That should be investigation, possibly prosecution, and so on and so forth.
Yes, like some people describe it as a political genocide.
The political genocide. And we just hope that as they reconvene today, the right thing will be made. Whatever perception Nigerians have about the current Senate will be amended.
Hopefully, Oji. Hopefully, we are very hopeful that our voices will not fall on deaf ears. And most of that, I said that the Senate comprises of senior citizens, our fathers. So I want to believe that they will, apply wisdom, because the gray hair is likened to what we call wisdom, and we have a lot of men with gray hairs there. So I don't want them to. I want to see a situation where the gray hair will speak, which is a symbol of wisdom today. And however, like I said, the protest has also taken different toll. We have, like I said, we have the retired, we have the serving, and we have the electorate now protesting. Everybody's interested. That shows that we are waking up. The awareness is strong. Nigerians are ready. And if we get it right now with what is going on, trust me, like the Honorable just said, that the voter apathy is going to die. People are going to come out in mass to vote. We want to change the narrative. This hunger everywhere, insecurity, does not know tribe, doesn't know where you're coming from, it doesn't know who you are, it doesn't know your state of origin, it doesn't know your level of education. It's there, it is there. Everybody's facing it, and we must fix it.
Thank you very much, Chidi Kenneth.
Thank you very much, Oji.
It has been a wonderful day again.
And you too.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. This is where we draw the curtain on today's show, P&B Morning Show, right here on Politics and Business Television, reaching live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you need to do is to type Politics and Business TV Politics&BusinessTV.English. Politics and Business TV.English. You get us there, subscribe, and get all the latest content from us right here. And we are also in all other social media. So do well to follow, to subscribe, share, and like, and also comment. And we'll be here to, of course, acknowledge you. My name is Omike Joseph Matthew, and on behalf of the team, I want to say have a good